Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to talk about today is going back to a lot of my data and understanding what you need to achieve when you're playing your game of golf. I'm going to look at your second shots and see how important they are in a round of golf. When we look at something like Tiger Woods, when he dominated the game, it was where he was after 2 shots on every hole is why he dominated the game. That's why he was the best player in the world. So we're going to look at these second shots. So we're going to look at sort of 4 shots all in all. We're going to look at your second shot going up, say, a par 5. How far do you need to advance that ball? If you were then 150 yards from the green, how close should you get it to the green or close to the hole? If you had a 200-yard par 3, where should you be ending up? And then where should that second shot be looking to end up? And the same thing on a much shorter, say, 140-yard par 3. And it's all going to work. What always interests me, when I talk to people about my data, they're always quite surprised. When we talk about the guy shooting 80, so a single-figure golfer, they're always quite shocked at how far they can be away from the hole, how little they need to encourage the ball up the hole. So that's the data I'm going to a little bit use. I will throw in some other data for 18 handicap as we go along, but it's mainly emphasizing if you're a single-figure golfer, this is what you need to do. So we're here on the first hole. First hole at Corinthians is a par 5, and I've hit my tee shot, and I'm in the middle of the fairway, great. But there's no way on earth I'm going to reach that green. So what do I need to actually achieve with my second shot? And as a single figure golfer, I'm looking for a shot, advance it up the hole, somewhere between 170 and 180 yards. That would be perfect. Okay, that's all I'm looking to do. If I can put it up the fairway, that distance, it keeps me moving along. It maintains my level. And I think that's really important because what I see in all sports is people's expectation is too high. And then what they end up doing is getting frustrated when it isn't perfect. So you may have the capability to hit it over 200 yards. But if you can advance, as we said, that 170 to 180, you're doing exactly what you need to do to get the results you want to play to that level. If you want to play nearer to 90, 150 is plenty. Just keep moving up the hole, 150, down the fairway. As long as you're not putting in trouble, you're all good. So let's see if we can do that. I've just got a little hybrid here. I know if I catch it pure, it'll go 200. But again, you find the club that works for you. If you're better with long irons or you're better with a fairway wood, like a 7 or a 9 wood, that's absolutely fine. As long as we make that connection, you can see the hole there. Lovely striped fairways we've got. Just a nice smooth swing. I'm up the fairway. I've struck it nicely. And I'm going to be around about that figure that we said, probably about 180. So I've achieved what I want to do. I should walk down that fairway and be very happy because it gives me the chance to play the next shot into the green or advance it up the hole, maybe chip on with the next shot. First hole at Corinthians, a very long hole. It's 540, all uphill, plays closer to 600 yards. It's a heck of a hole to start a round of golf. Okay, so that's my second shot, just advancing up the fairway. Let's go and have a look if I was now playing my second shot into a par 4 and how close I should be getting that ball relative to the target. So here's our second shot. We're going to look at a shot going into the green from around about 150 yards. Because the course is quite busy, I'm actually still using the first hole. And because I get a few people, they'll know the course and they'll go, that's not a par 4 you're playing, that's the par 5. I'm going to play the shot into this first hole, which, as I said, is the par 5 first. But it's just to give you the idea. Still the same distance, but I just want you to imagine it's the second shot on a par 4. But it's the same thing, whether it's your third on a par 5 or a second on a par 4. But what we're looking at here is what's a good shot? Again, single figure golfer. You're going to be amazed at the result here. We're talking about 60 foot from the hole is good. And I think one of the stats I'm now going to bring in as we start to look at the shots going into the greens is what we call proximity to hole. And I was looking at this morning and it's quite an interesting stat that comes up. We've just had the Masters and it comes up and they talk about proximity hole, which basically how close are they to the hole when they are playing a shot from a certain distance, okay? And if they are inside 30 yards to the green, that distance doesn't count. So a chipping type shot doesn't count onto the green. So chip it to a foot, that shot wouldn't count. Colin Morikawa is the #1 player at this stat. And on average, when he's playing into the green, he is 33 feet from the hole. He is the #1 player. He has got the best stat on tour at the moment. 33 feet. And we're talking from this sort of distance, we're saying we should be nearer 60. So realize even the best players in the world, it's only half what you're doing. And the tour average is 38 feet. So I think that's really important to understand. Don't stand here over this type of shot. And this is probably the average length shot we're talking about, because theirs would include 200-yard shots, 100-yard shots, around about this distance, and they're getting it 33 feet from the hole. If you can do that every time you stand over this shot, you are a tour player. Just think about that for a second. So 60 feet's good. If you are a player shooting 90, get this anywhere near the edge of the green and you're doing absolutely fine. Get it even within 10, 15 yards of the green, you're doing brilliantly. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. This is my second shot, as I said, going into our sort of created par 4. If I can get this ball up there anywhere on the green as a single figure golfer, I'm doing what I meant to do. If I can get it inside 30 feet, I should be on tour. Well, it's online. And I can see I'm probably about a yard off the front edge of the green, but I know the flag's cut close to the front. So I've probably got that around about 40 feet from the hole. So it's not a bad shot. So I'm in my area to play my single figure golf. It's okay. And that's the key thing. You can go down to the next shot. You're in the right frame of mind and it gives you a chance. So let's go and look at a couple of par 3 tee shots. Where should I end up? And then where should that second shot start to end up relative to the hole? If I'm doing that, I can play single figure golf. So here's our first par 3 tee shot. We're on the 11th tee. It's a 208-yard par 3. What are we looking to achieve? Well, again, we've talked about Tiger. He was the best player after he played his 2 shots. What do we need to do to play to single figures? Well, we need to end up after 2 shots within around about 10 to 12 feet from the hole. It's given me an opportunity. This is probably a hole. Some of you followed my data. This is a hole that we're looking at around about 3.6 to 3.7 hole. It's a 200-yard par 3, nearly 210-yard par 3. You are going to bogey this hole more than you're going to par it as a single figure golfer. We're talking those 8, 9 handicap golfers. Probably getting down to about 5, it's going to be a 50-50. Half the time you're going to par it, half the time you're going to bogey it. So if we can get it around that 10 foot, you're probably going to hole again, about 3 out of 10 of those putts. So that's the goal. How can you do it? Ultimately, we'd love to put it on the green. That would be the best way. But if we don't put it on the green, have we got a chipping game or a bunker game, short game that will give me the chance to get it within that, as I said, 10 to 12 feet from the hole? So what would be a par shot with my tee shot for a single figure golfer? Amazingly, I don't even need to hit the green. If I get this within 20 yards of the green, I've done my job. If I'm an 18 handicap golfer, get it within 40 yards, you're doing fine. So again, we're seeing that similar to the hybrid shot that I played up the fairway on the first, that maintainer shot. Can I advance it around about that 180 yards as a single figure golfer and 150 to 160 as an 18 handicap golfer? Don't think you've got to put yourself right by the hole. You're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself, which then during the round, if it keeps building up, it's a recipe for disaster. So we're just going to take my hybrid again. We're going to play it down. We'll play the first 2 shots, see where we end up on this hole and see what our results are. But anything within 20 yards of the green is a good shot. Flag there cut a little bit on the left side. So actually be better if I could end up, if I don't get on the green, if I did end up smack in the middle going into the green, I'd have a little uphill chip there. That would be nice. Nice rhythmical swing. I know I can get it there. Smooth. Get it close to the green. Okay, not my best strike, but let's see where we end up. And I reckon we're probably around about 20, 25 yards away from the green. So I've done what I need to do as a single figure golfer. Now the goal is, can I get that chip close enough to give myself a chance for par? But if I don't, remember, 70% of the time I'm going to bogey this hole anyway. So a bogey isn't a bad result. But let's go down, have a look and see what we get and see if we can get that second shot close enough to the hole. So here's our result on the 200-yard par 3. I'm going to pace it out. We said 20 yards from the green. So let's do comfortable paces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17. 21 paces it would be on the line that I'm on to get to the green. So amazingly, that's a par shot. That's a maintainer. That's going to keep my game going. If I've got a reasonable short game from this position, I shouldn't do worse than getting down in 3. Anytime you're playing a 200-yard par 3 and you make a 4, that's okay. That's never going to ruin your scorecard. Okay, if we get it up and down, that's great. Goal now, remember what we said with the data, is can I now get this within 10 feet? Okay, so looking at the shot, just want to keep it. I mean, there's a load of green over here, and that will give me an uphill putt. So I'm actually going to go at the flag. It should kick in from the left, but if I go too far left, it might stay off the green. I might not come on. I want to have a putt. How can I get this within sort of a couple of flagstick lengths of the hole? That would be the goal. I've just got my gap wedge. So my second shot result. This is the second shot. This is what we're looking at. Where I am after this, pretty much determine what I'm going to score on this hole. So I landed it on line. It's done what I thought it would do. And the result there, we've probably got that around about 8 to 10 feet from the hole. So really, really happy with that result. Exactly what it set out to do. Thought the hole sensibly. After 2 shots, where do I want to be? Around about 10 feet. I've pretty much achieved that. Let's look at our final shot, which is a much shorter par 3 of around about 140 yards, and see where we should be after 2 shots playing that hole. So here's our final shot that we're going through. We're looking at another par 3. We used the 11th. We've just jumped across to the second. This is the great thing about this course. That was 210-yard par 3. We're now up to 146-yard par 3. And that's how the course changes. And you can see from the picture how it changes the hole so dramatically. So that's why it's such a great course to come and play. Please come down to Corinthians and have a game. So let's get back to my data. We're looking around about that 140 yards. Remember what we had from 150 yards in the middle of the fairway. We were looking at average, really getting it anywhere between 50 and 60 feet would be a good shot. A little bit closer. We're playing off a tee peg. We tend to find the data slightly favours the tee shots on a par 3 rather than the second shot. So only going to reduce it slightly to around about 45 to 50 feet. So not a massive difference from this distance. So anywhere, basically, if you're a single figure golfer, from this position, anywhere on that green is a good shot. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Don't, again, keep talking about it, ridiculous pressure on yourself. Keep it simple. So anywhere on the green's good. Rob, our greenkeepers, cut it a little bit tight on the left side. There's a big tree, hopefully you can see behind the green. I always use that as my target line. I'll play this hole a little bit like Jack Nicklaus would say. Play everything to the middle of the green. You're never going to be too far away. So I play this middle of the green. I do naturally draw it a little bit, so it may come back to the flag. But remember, I get this about 45 feet away. Done my job. Well, it's going straight in the middle of the green. Just depends if I got the distance right. We'll have a look at that when we get down there. Good. Yeah, probably around about 25 to 30 feet. So a little bit better than average. But again, that's what I see golfers expecting every time. What you've got to realise, that shot, I'm a professional golfer, that's about the average shot a professional will hit on a hole this length. So that's just an average shot. Realise as a single figure golfer or even higher, remember if you're playing off 18, get it down near the fringe of the green, you're doing fine. Remember, 18 bogeys, you've played to 18. But let's go down, have a look at that shot and finish the hole off. But look at where, after 2 shots, in theory, I should be. So this is where our tee shot finished on the 145-yard par 3. And we looked for something around about 45 feet. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 paces. So we're looking around about 27, 28 feet is where I've ended up, okay? And what we said on the tee, if I got it within about 30 feet, that's what I should be doing as a professional golfer. But as a single figure golfer, you could be another 10, 15 feet further away. But let's look at my data. The long par 3, we're looking at a hole, we're probably going to bogey on average 70% of the time, par it 30% of the time, and we got within the distance we should be after 2 shots. So we gave ourselves that chance. It sort of flips round now on this length of hole. It's now a hole we should par 70% of the time and bogey only 30% of the time. So it's a hole on average we're going to make more pars than we're not. But if we played these 2 holes and walked off with 7 shots, a bogey and a par, either way, you're pretty much doing what you need to do. And if you think about it, single figure golf, playing 8-9 handicap, you're going to go bogey par the whole way round. So we've given ourselves that chance. We're inside our distance. But as we said, this video is all about where should I be after 2 shots. We want to encourage that maintainer 175 yards down the fairway. We're getting that second shot on the par 4 within 50 feet or so of the hole. 20 yards away, we were sort of playing a chip shot in from 200 yards to get it within 10, 12 feet, which we've done. We should be around about 3 foot away after 2 shots on this length of hole. So you can see how things change, and you've got to get it in perspective to your level and also the shot that you're playing. Okay, so let's look at what we've got. We've got a little bit of a breaking putt here. It's going to move that way. My green reading method, if you've seen it, please keep using it. I keep getting good reviews on it, but please use it. I think the low point is running over here. I hope I'm still in the camera. The low point's running here. If I think of a clock face, I'm 6 o'clock. My golf ball is at 8 o'clock. We're 11 paces. It was about, I'd say it's a little bit more than an average slope. So if we call it a 3% slope, we're now saying that's 33 inches of break at the maximum break, but this is going to break 3/4 of that. Okay, that's important to understand. So 3/4 of 32 is 24. We'll add another one on 25 inches. So we're looking about 6 hole widths to the left of the hole, because everything's going to go that way. There's the low point. So if I can start it now, a couple of feet left of the hole, get the pace right. Let's get this ball, as we said, within 2 or 3 feet. We're doing what we're meant to do. Oh, a little bit of rush on that one. Okay, but we're here to show you what can happen. So physically, what have I done? Where have I ended up? We wanted to be around about that 3 foot. And on this occasion, I'm now 6 feet away. So that's the difference. This is what we're talking about. If I got that to there, I could still hold it. But amazingly, my stats has gone now. There's more chance I'm going to miss that, even as a single figure golfer, than I'm going to hold it. 5 to 6 feet is your 50-50 putt. So it's just near a 5 foot. So that's really important to understand. So we're showing you here, it's not always perfect shots. On that occasion, yeah, we gave it a little bit more speed, and that's why the ball's run through. But it's showing you what you need to achieve after 2 shots. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's shown you 4 different shots. Have a look at it, write down that data. Even if you're a higher handicapper, go out there and think, yeah, can I hit it 175 yards down the fairway? Well, then I'm now playing to single figure golf. Can I get that shot from 150 yards in the middle of the fairway within 45, 50 feet of the hole? I'm playing single figure golf. Can I get that 200-yard tee shot within 20 yards of the green? I'm playing single figure golf if I then chip it to about 10 feet. I'm still doing what I need to do. So that's where I'd be after 2 shots. And then the shorter par 3, after 2 shots, could I be within 3 or 4 feet of the hole? If you're doing that regularly, you will start playing to single figures. And if you do that, you're going to have a lot more fun playing your game. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's all about the data, understanding what we're looking to achieve. Sometimes you'll do it, sometimes you won't. But please look at that. Please go back and look at my 12 shots of golf videos, which give you a little bit more in-depth data. And if you have enjoyed it, please share this with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you soon.